it's just my allergies. Anyways, so you guys know, because a lot of you follow me on Twitter, and a lot of you saw my previous video where I went to the Batman vs Superman early screening premiere, and I did a vlog about it before we entered the theater and after we watched the movie. And a lot of people were kind of confused with my overall reaction after I saw the movie. I wasn't exactly like all like crazy, batshit crazy, and I wasn't jumping around saying that was the greatest movie of all time and stuff. And kind of got a lot of my friends confused, and they're like, "Oh, so what gives?" So I wanted to do this video, kind of explaining my overall opinions and my reviews on the film. What I thought about it. Warning. Spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything, if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want any major spoilers, stop here, because I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but for the most part I am going to pull out some major spoilers. So yeah, let's go on with the movie. I did enjoy the film. It was a really good film, in my opinion. It was much better than Man of Steel. Larry Fong's cinematography was on point. I enjoy the kind of pictures he can paint. I love Larry Fong essentially is a really good cinematographer, and he did a really outstanding job putting this together. He has breathtaking visuals. Cast was great. I think, Ben Affleck as Batman was awesome. Henry Cavill definitely improved as Superman. Because in the previous film, Man of Steel, he was kind of like this rookie, just starting to be Superman. Now he's like matured. Now he's worked on his landing. He's worked on his takeoffs when flying. He has matured as having morals, how to do things, how to think as Superman, not as Clark Kent. Because he's been Clark Kent all his life. Gal Gadot, I can never pronounce her name right, but Wonder Woman in a sense. She got a lot of screen time, but not as Wonder Woman, but as Diana Prince, and she did a pretty good job at it. I really liked the fighting at the end. When they were fighting Doomsday, they weren't really exactly coordinated. They were just, throwing fists at that monster, Doomsday, which made it really fun. I really like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I think he did a pretty good job. It's an interesting, different take on Lex Luthor. It's kind of like a psychopath. Yeah. Jeremy Irons as Alfred, he did a really good job, giving him that sarcastic, but at the same time, encouraging mentor that he has been to Bruce. Definitely like the Easter eggs that they threw in, like the 1938 reference, the Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman appearance cameos. The kryptonite gas was pretty good. Was a nice nod to the comics. You have to make sense that this movie generally pulls two comic books together, and I'll explain why later. I don't want to give too much away right now. The plot is a plot, or it's less than a plot actually. It's just a sequence of events that happened. Something happens, and something happens, and something happens, whether they interconnect or they don't. It's totally baffling sometimes. The movie is really dark, and it's no fun at all. Don't expect it to be like Marvel, where they throw their puns and jokes every now and then. It's like, oh, why is it so heavy on this hammer? Oh, to give it some weight. No, it's nothing like that at all. On the contrary, it's the complete opposite. It's super serious. Batman needs to find a way to stop Superman because he's afraid that he's going to be able to who's going to stop a superpowered alien being that can wipe out the entire planet? So he needs to find a way to stop him. And that kind of leads up to the fight. And I didn't like the buildup of the fight. Well, I didn't like how it was put in. It's like, Lex had a big part in these. Like, you have to fight him, otherwise, Martha dies and stuff like that. I'm just like, okay, so they're not fighting because they kind of want to, in a sense, because, Superman's being forced to. Otherwise, and he doesn't even technically fight him, he just gets pissed off and throws him off a couple of times. And it's Batman that really does all the heavy punching at him. No pun. And so that's where, the kryptonite gas comes in to weaken him, and that's where, you kind of get a nod of the Dark Knight Returns comic book where, Batman beats Superman. And he's like this close to killing him too. But what I didn't like. Another thing I didn't like about that is the fight was amazing. Don't get me wrong. I love the fight. What I didn't exactly like was how it just ended so abruptly. Like, oh, he finds out and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, he's like, oh, I'm a friend. I'm like, really? You spent the last hour and 40 minutes or so, 2 hours, saying that you cannot trust him at all, that you have to stop him, and so and now he's just a friend. He's like, oh yeah, friend. It was kind of weird how that played out, but I guess it makes sense because when you got a big giant monster like Doomsday terrorizing the city, you gotta make friends, and you gotta find a way to stop this being. Favorite scene from the movie was the Batmobile chase. I thought that was really cool. It's a pretty violent movie, so there's some scenes that caught me like, whoa, like, wow, okay, I was not expecting that, or okay, that they're gonna go with that. Okay, that's cool. I mean, the fight with Batman and the bad guys, you saw it in the final trailer where I'm like, opening my mouth really big. The extended version of that fight was actually really impressive, and even in the theater, I was like, so cool. I really enjoyed that part. But again, like I said, it was really brutal. It was really violent. God knows how many people they killed in this movie. Now I have to do the count. They said in the last one it was about a couple thousands. Now I got to do the count for this one, so I'm gonna go watch it again just to make sure, right? As I mentioned, it was like a take of two different comic books. It was The Dark Knight Returns and The Death of Superman. And you already know what it is because, like, I just mentioned it. I just mentioned the title of the comic book, and yeah, that's exactly what happens. I wasn't really all too focused or expecting that in a way. We're expecting Justice League in the future. We are expecting the standalone films of all the other rest of the members, including, Batman and Suicide Squad and stuff. So, how is he gonna come back from this? Because he's expecting to come back, and it kind of shows that at the very end when the rocks start, the dirt starts kind of moving. So Batman versus Robin or Son of Batman. Watching any of those animated movies, that's what I kind of felt like I was watching. Only it was live action. But this is just my overall, first impression of it. It's just like, okay, good, okay, that's cool. All right, not bad. It's a popcorn flick from me, That's why they're opinions. They're not facts. I mean, I may think it's just a popcorn flick. You guys might find it to be the greatest film of all time. And you know what? I'm totally okay with that. That's everyone's opinion. Or you might hate it. You might completely hate this movie because it's not like some comic book fans would say, like comic book nerds actually would say, it's like, oh, it's not. Batman will never do that thing, or Superman wouldn't do this thing, or that's not how That's what happened. I'll definitely watch it again. I'll buy the Blu-ray when it comes out because that's how I am. I love DC. I am a DC guy. I love Batman. I love Superman. I'm more of a Batman guy though. I know there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna hate it, and there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna love it. Go watch it, guys. See it for yourself, and let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm an absolute madman that was completely wrong about my opinions are invalid because it's simply Batman versus Superman? I really want to know. I really want to talk to you guys about it. So, if you did see the movie, if there's some of you that did see the movie and watched this video, let me know what you guys think. What are your opinions about it? I'm really curious. I'm really interested in knowing what everyone has to say about the film and how it's much better or much worse than Man of Steel. It's whatever. So yeah, let me know. And thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned. I will be doing a WrestleMania predictions video soon, so stay tuned for that. So, take care, guys.